record this? There we go. So I am recording this for later. Okay, good. Okay, let me go back to that screen sharing thing. Here we go. I'll get faster at this as I learn. Okay, here we are in Blackboard. So first thing I want to talk to you guys about are the presentations. I did see that you turned in your presentation questions. I'm going to grade those today and get them back to you. I'm going to make comments on those. And the point of those questions is to kind of guide you to make an outline for your presentation. So it's the topics you're going to cover. And remember that since this is a college class and it is cellular molecular biology, I do want you to go into some kind of depth on either the cellular or molecular level, depending on what your topic is. So if you are talking about a medication, I want you to tell me what part of the cell it affects or what molecular interaction it has, a little bit. You know, you don't have to tell me, you know, the whole biochemical everything about it, but a little bit would be good. So I'll look at those questions. I'm going to put comments on them and adjust them a little bit just based on my experience with writing essay questions, and I'll return them to you, and then you can use that as the outline for your presentations. Okay? So the next thing I want to show you is the presentation menu. And again, this is under post-class materials and then presentations, and I posted some new stuff for you that I think will be handy. One of the things that I posted for you is this rubric. And so if we open that, you'll see that this is my grading form for your presentation. So I split it into a whole bunch of little categories, a bunch of little things I'm looking for when I watch your presentation. So I'm looking for some formatting things. I'm looking to see that your content goes deep enough, that everybody shares in the narration, a whole bunch of little things. So if you're finishing up your presentation and you're not sure whether, you know, it's going to meet all the standards, you can look here and see what you can do. And if you finish your presentation a little early, or at least a rough draft, and you want to send it to me, I can take a look at it and give you some guidance on that too. Okay, so that is there for you. Next, I want to point out, I want to do this with you. There we go, I'll make it small enough there. All right, so I want to give you a little bit of guidance as to what to do with your slides and what not to do with your slides. And so here's some big kind of obvious things to not do with your presentation. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, so let's take a look at this first slide here. You guys can tell me, what is wrong with this slide? What's going on here?
It's not bullet points.
Well, it does have some bullet points to the side here. What do you mean by?
They're not like simplified and easy to understand.
Right, complicated, wordy. What else makes it difficult to read? What about the font? The font size.
Small.
Say again?
The font is small.
It's tiny. Yeah, little bitty fonts, lots of reading. If you were presenting along with this slide, no one's going to be listening to you because they're going to be trying to read all that text. So remember, a good rule of thumb, and I'm guilty of doing that sometimes too, just to get information across, but a good rule of thumb is this 6x6 rule, which tells you to try not to have more than 6 bullet points per slide, and try not to have more than about 6 words per bullet point. So, you know, you don't have to have all the these and ands in there to get a point across. Try to keep it simple. If you've got a lot of information you want to get across, it's totally fine to split that into different slides. This, I think I would split into at least 4 slides, and I would chop those big statements down into small statements. I'm suggesting with your presentation, I want you to have at least 8 slides in your presentation, which isn't very many really. But you can have more. You can have about, you know, up to about 20 is fine if you just have a little bit of information on each slide. remember that with your narration, you're going to want to have about 20 to 30 seconds of narration per slide. So if you have a big topic, it's okay to split it into little chunks so that your narration will go along with your slide. Okay, so don't overload the slides if you can avoid it. I worked with a teacher one time that, man, she would load every square inch of every slide with tiny, tiny text, and it made my head want to explode. Of course, I like big fonts. Okay, how about this one? Why is this not okay?
Can't see the words.
Can't read it? What else? How about those color choices?
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah, the colors are really bright and it's distracting, and it has very little contrast, so you can't read the words. So keep that in mind when you're picking your designs. PowerPoint has some really fun designs and things, but I'd say go simple. Try to pick something that's kind of neat looking. But as far as fonts and colors, make sure you pick something with high contrast, either dark text on a light background or really light text on a black background that's fairly easy to read. And also in general, it's a good idea to keep in mind that some people are colorblind, and that's more common than you'd think. So if you have red on a green background, some people aren't going to be able to see your text. Or blue and yellow, sometimes those colors can kind of blend together for colorblind people too. So pick things that are high contrast. Blurg, why is this one? What's wrong here?
It's all pictures.
It's all pictures. What else? Why doesn't that convey what the person intended? Nobody? All right, nobody's talking. It's all pictures. Someone went crazy with the clip art here. And let me tell you, in the early 2000s, when clip art first became a thing where we could drop pictures into presentations and on documents, we all went crazy with it. We put it on everything. But they've got so many images here that it's hard to know what they're even trying to say. Like it's something about suits maybe. Also notice that the text at the top, they picked this kind of, supposed to be kind of a fancy text style, but it makes it hard to read. It's distracting. I think it's better to go simple with these things, simple and direct. And you can include 1 to 2 images per slide. Make sure that the images relate directly to what you're going to talk about or what is written on the slide, and keep it simple. I'm going to suggest that you avoid animations altogether. PowerPoint has some neat animations that make the letters fly in and stuff. I'd say you don't even have to worry about setting those up or setting up transitions. One, because I don't think VoiceThread will accept them. So when you put your slides into VoiceThread, I don't think it will make the animations work anyway. And 2, it can just be really distracting and very time consuming to set up. So I would say just don't worry about animations.
Professor?
Yes?
Your voice threads that I've been trying to look at in chapter 9 and 8, they have been locked, so I can't hear your voice.
They've been locked?
Yeah, it's like it has your initials, and when it's loading, there's a lock button at the bottom, like a lock and key.
Oh,
and
no.
it's locked, so I can't hear what you're saying. So I just look through the slides.
Oh, that's terrible.
And YouTube, which is time consuming.
Right. That was 9 and 10?
It was 9, 10, and it was the same for 16. So I've been looking at YouTube videos.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't know if anybody else has that problem.
Yeah, anybody else having that? I'm glad we have the YouTube as a backup.
I haven't
Yeah.
yet, but I haven't really checked. I've been working on chapter 16 instead right now.
Okay, okay. But you have had that problem in the past?
No, I have not, but I
Okay.
did
No,
like
no.
last week. I'm
Only
not
recent chapters.
Huh, okay. I will definitely go check on that. Let me write that down before I forget.
Thank you.
Because that's a big problem. Voice thread locked. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, I'll go see if I can square that because I personally, I like to watch the voice threads better than the YouTubes because it gives you more control over the slides.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you for letting me know. I'll go see what's going on with that.
Okay.
Oops, that's my phone. All right, another thing I wanted to show you, I wanted to give you an example of how simple you can go with your presentation slides. So here's a slide I just whipped up about Coatis, the Coata Mundi. So this is really simple, but it does convey some information. You know, the title's pretty simple. It's what we're going to talk about. And it tells you 3 pieces of information about this animal. So it all connects together well, and it's pretty simple. You can get away with going slides this simple just because you're going to add narration to it. So remember that the point is to convey a certain amount of information to your audience so that they can answer those essay questions. So you can either put that information in the bullet points or you can do it with the narration, however you want to do it. But you really don't have to be very complicated or fancy with your slides. Other tips about narration. Again, I'd like you to only have about 20 to 30 seconds of narration per slide. So that means you're going to really have to focus on what you want to get across to your audience. I also want everybody in a partnership to do part of the narration. So both your voices need to be represented if you have a partner. Sometimes it's helpful to have a script that you're looking at while you're doing your narration. If you're kind of trying to do it off the cuff, it can be easy to mess up and want to do it again and again 10 or 20 times, and that's time consuming. So you might want to go with a script, kind of jot something down for each slide as you do it. On the other hand, I don't want you to just read something. So what I don't want is for you to pull up a web page about your topic and read the entire first paragraph. Okay, that we can kind of tell when you're just reading. It kind of makes the presentation more boring, which is interesting because we can tell from the tone of your voice what's going on there. So you want to make it kind of conversational when you're talking to your slides, but it is okay to have a script. You know, you don't have to have it memorized for sure. Okay, do your best to avoid the okays and ums and things, but you know, they slip in there. And try to speak at kind of a medium pace. I tend to go too fast sometimes, I think. Questions about presentations and how to do them?
I did my presentations, well, we did our slides already, and I did put a lot of information on each slide. Do I have to correct it to minimize it?
You know, you might send a copy to me and let me look and see if I think it's too much or.
Okay.
Yeah, send me a link to it or send me a copy and I'll take a look at it.
All right, thank you.
Good. Any other questions?
So is it due on Saturday?
It's due Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday night at midnight.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Next thing I want to talk to you about here is the test, because test 2 is here. This is a busy week. You've got a lot of content to crank out. So we are moving on with the chapters using these class meetings. You've also got the test to worry about and you've got your presentation to worry about. It all kind of fell on this one week. But let's take a look at the test. So the test is online now. And it's located in this new, wait, what does that say? I'm fixing to see my magnifier here. Well, okay. Yay, it looks like Zoom isn't going to kick us out. Thank you, Zoom. Everybody buy Zoom products. Let's see. Okay. Oh, good. They raised that, lifted that 40-minute limit on K through 12 teachers, but I didn't think they had done it for college teachers. So we'll just see what they're doing with it. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is this test. So here's the new test menu down here beneath post materials. And if you open it up, you're going to see all the parts of test number 2. Okay. This top one, when you click on it, it'll take you into it just like a homework or a pre-class quiz. It's a set of essay questions and kind of assignment questions that you're going to do. I set it up so that it randomly chooses questions, so everybody's test will be a little bit different. And what it's going to require that you do is write a paragraph, 1 or 2 paragraphs, answering the question. You don't have to write a giant, 5-page essay for each one, just a couple of good paragraphs, just be thorough in your answer. Write in complete sentences, use good grammar, all that stuff. I need to be able to understand your answers. But you're going to write a paragraph or 2 for each one about that topic, and you'll put the answers directly into this test. So it provides a blank for you. Let me just show you the other kind of questions that are on here. Okay, there's an essay. There's an essay. Come on. There's an essay. You'll just type in the blank. Here we go. The other kind is a file upload question. And so this is going to ask you to do something like make a drawing or make a diagram or label something. And so you'll do that on your own paper, do your own drawing. Doesn't have to be beautiful, just has to, show the concept. And then you'll take a picture of it and upload it. And you can upload it to this question here. If you want to do all your pictures on one document and just upload one, that's fine. Now, usually I like for you guys to use the Google Shared Docs so that we can communicate back and forth. For this, because it's a test, I want you to save your drawings as either JPEGs or PDFs or a Word document and turn that in. So I want it to be something that you can't change after the due date. Okay, but you'll just click on Browse and just upload it right there. And if you get stuck or have any problems with that, let me know. Okay, the essay test is kind of long. It's going to take you some time. So get out of it. I would suggest you go ahead and start on it as soon as you can. And I would suggest that you do this part of the test before you do the multiple choice stuff, because I think it's going to help you review for the other topics. Okay, any questions about, the essay test?
How do you want us to cite our sources? Is that part of this test?
Yes, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. So there are different kinds of citations. What I want from you on this is to provide a citation for the source you use for a question beneath your answer. So you need to drop a citation in there. Probably the easiest way to do it is to make a citation for the textbook, say if you have the textbook, and then you can just change the page numbers in your citation as you're going. But for instance, you'll maybe, let's say you wrote this paragraph here. If you write that paragraph, then just beneath it, you'll just drop, paste, or type or paste that citation in there. There are particular formats for the citations, and so I put those in citation information. And the citations that I think you might need, or the information you might need, I highlighted in blue for this. It's the same type of citation you use for your presentation. Okay, I don't want you guys to go crazy on citations and spend a lot of time on it. The purpose of it is to show me the sources that you use, so that I can make sure that they are good sources. And it's also to kind of help prevent plagiarism.
What if your answer is just from your notes and from what we learned in class? Can you just say like what day or like what chapter you learned that in? Or do we have to go and find a source?
So there are citation and instructions for citing a presentation in that folder. So you'll make a citation for my presentation. You don't want to just say in class, learn it in class, right? But if you got it from a set of my slides, you can cite those slides. The other thing to avoid with this is don't go on the internet and just copy and paste giant paragraphs of things. Write these things in your own words. And I do have software enabled that's going to help me detect when you've copied something off the internet. Or if you've copied from one another, it will detect that as well, and it will flag it for me. Okay. Other questions with that? I'll work up a couple of example citations as well, and I'll post those. I probably won't get to that till tomorrow, but I'll post those so you can see them. Okay. The other parts of the test, this looks like a lot, but what I've done here is I split the multiple choice section up by chapter. So let me see if I can make my screen a little smaller. Nope, it's going to stay there. Okay. But I've split it up by chapter. So there's between 10 and 15 questions on each of these multiple choice tests. You can do them in any order that you want. They are timed. So I gave you 20 minutes for each one, which should be ample time to go through them. You only get one attempt at each one. So once it's open, you need to finish it. And as soon as you open it, the timer will start. So be aware of that. If you can go out and back in if you need to, but once the timer starts, it's started. And once it hits time, it will turn it in for you. Okay, but I did split it up by topic. You can do them whenever you want to this week. The essay test is not timed. You can go in and out of it, take your time with it. Just make sure you submit when you're ready for it to grade, to be graded. Okay, any questions about the multiple choice tests?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear if you said this, but how many questions are in each section?
They're a little different, but somewhere between 10 and 15 in each one. And you've got 20 minutes to do each one. Okay.
Like 20 minutes per section or 20 minutes in general to do it all?
Oh, per section, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if it was for all of it, that'd just be a nightmare. Yeah. Be interesting to see who could get it done.
Definitely not me.
Yeah, just maybe just clicking random answers maybe, but yeah, 20 minutes per section.
Cool.
Okay, good. Other questions about the test? See what time it is. All right, so that's all the stuff we've got going on this week. I also posted the next lab that we'll work on Thursday, but that's Thursday's problem. We'll look at that. Okay, next thing I would like to get back into is this cellular respiration worksheet. I'll go ahead and post this link one more time for the cellular respiration worksheet. So if you want to go ahead and open that up, we're going to work on that. I'll take a quick peek and see if everybody's here. Got 11 people. That's pretty good. Let's see if anybody got locked out or anything. Okay, looks like we're pretty good. Resume sharing. Oops. Okay, can you all see this worksheet? Can you see the electron transport chain that's there? You guys still there?
Yes.
Okay, you can see the orange and beige and purple diagram?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good, okay. Oh, that icy silence of this online teaching scares me. Like I can't even read facial expressions. Okay, thank you. All right, so what we're gonna do is work on this together. I'm gonna put you guys into groups and we're gonna go through this stuff. We kind of went through the electron transport chain a little bit last time, but I want you to understand the basics of how this works. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put you guys into 3 groups. And you're gonna fill out this worksheet together. So whomever is able to access this worksheet, you can go ahead and type in the answers and then we'll come back and we'll go over it together. So here's the parts that I want you to go over. I want you to answer these questions here, the summaries that are beneath this diagram. Group 1, I'm going to assign A and B. Group 2 will be C and D. And group 3 will be E. And I'll come into your groups and remind you of that. And then I want you to look at this diagram and describe what you see happening at each of these steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I want you to put it in your own words. So group 1, I'll give 1 and 2. Group 2, I'll give 3 and 4. And group 3, I will give 5 and 6. Once you've completed that, I want you to move down to this part. At the very end, there's this diagram, and it kind of got pushed down here on its own page. But this is my very favorite diagram of cellular respiration. It represents all the different reactions that happen and what goes in and what comes out. So it really summarizes the whole process. You will definitely see this diagram on your test. So I want us to do it together and I want to go over it. Here's kind of how the diagram works. These white boxes here represent chemicals. So for instance, this first chemical might be glucose. The gray boxes represent chemical reactions. To the left, if you have an oval here, that represents an energy product. So that's either going to be NADH or FADH2. And over here to the right, there's ATP. If I scroll up, this worksheet gives you the terms that you want to fill into these blanks. So you're going to try to figure out which of these goes in which blank. And I want you guys to kind of just start working on that together. Okay, I'll put this worksheet up in your groups. Or just kind of start looking it over together, and then when we come back, we can fill it in, okay, together. But I want you guys to be able to provide me with those answers, or at least some guesses. Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes, I heard a yes. All right, let's see. I'm going to put you in some breakout rooms. There we go. I'm going to let it just randomly assign this time. I'm fixing to hit go, and it's going to take you over to a breakout room. When you're in the breakout rooms, you should have all the functionality you have in this room, so you can share things, you can chat with each other. You should be able to, you know, you can put on your video and all of that stuff as well. Also, while we're sharing something, if you notice at the top or somewhere on the share menu, it should say annotate. And if you click annotate, it will give you tools where you can draw and stuff. Okay, so we can practice that too. All right, I'm fixing to hit go, and you're going to go to your rooms and start working on this. And I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to work on this. Okay, so here we go. Hey, group one.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, okay, cool. Got people in here. Let me share that picture again. Here's the worksheet again. Hopefully you can bring up your own version as well. Okay, so you guys are going to have A and B beneath this diagram, and you're going to have steps 1 and 2. A and B and 1 and 2.
A and B and 1 and 2.
Can you all see do you all have the worksheet open?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because it may stop sharing when I jump to the other room. I'm going to pause sharing. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to jump to the other room.
Okay,
Join room 2. Oh,
protein complexes.
there you go. Hey,
I
group.
believe so.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I think.
Everybody's here. Good, you think? I know, this is all so confusing. Okay. I put up that diagram.
Oh,
You
Brianna
guys.
can't hear us.
I'm sorry?
Brianna can't hear us.
Brianna can't hear us. Okay. Are you able to chat with her?
Yeah, she's posting in the chat.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you guys can kind of work that way. I will leave this up. When I jump to another room, it may take it down, but hopefully not. Oh, she can't.
Hmm.
I'll
Yeah,
see if I can chat with her.
It was a internet thing.
Okay. I will see if I can contact her. In
Yeah.
the meantime, you guys are going to do C and D and steps 3 and 4.
Okay.
C
Okay.
and D, 3 and 4. Okay, breakout room. Okay, I'm going to jump over to group 3 and I'll chat with Brianna. Okay. Hey, group 3.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to share. There's the document, so you can see it. You guys are going to be responsible for E and
Oh.
also for steps 5 and 6.
Okay.
Question E, steps 5 and 6. Okay, this may stop sharing once I jump out, but can you guys are you all in the shared Google Doc?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, at least one of you is, yeah, okay, cool. All right, I'll be back in a minute. Breakout rooms.